Welcome to another episode of last week's Comics Today. I've got a fat stack of comics here because I was out of town last week and I came back and now I'm sick. So I look and I sound like this. This might be a shorter video because of that, but I've got at least one rant in me, so you can look forward to that. We're going to start this week with Sacrificers issue 3. Things happen in this issue. You get a bit of clarity about what has / is going on. And it's good. I have no complaints. We do return to this guy and his daughter. That's not the guy, is it? Well, this guy. This whole party seems like something out of Swamp Thing. We get these, they're not quite avatars. I don't remember if they're named at all, but they're sort of mold, and there's air producing rain. There's this guy from the cover who's, I think, the local star. It's very, I don't know, broad in a sort of elemental sense. It's interesting, and I'm curious to see where it goes. But these characters are the ones that we've been following the most. So we do get an update on what is going on with them, what is being done to them, and I'm intrigued. I would like to know more. I'd like to see more, but it's good. What is very likely pick of the week is Conan issue 3. I have not thought about pick of the week yet, but this is just an incredible read. I loved the first issue. I was a little bit less impressed with issue 2 because issue 1 was such a great interplay between the writing and art. I said something about it being a graphic novel in the truest sense, and that the writing enhanced the art, but the writing wasn't necessarily needed because the story was told through the art. And that is still true here, or it's true again. We get this beginning, which is mostly creeping through a weird structure, so it is mostly silent as far as dialogue goes, but you get a ton of these text boxes that, again, enhance things beautifully. And because it's Conan, obviously fighting needs to break out at some point, and that is also very well done. I think this is it. Look at this incredible 2-page spread. I love it. A name is given as to what has been going on. Let me see if I can find that real quick, because if you know anything about Conan, you'll know who that is. But this is very, very good. Highly recommended. I don't know what else to say. It's just incredibly good. I wish other books were this good. The Midnite Show, issue 1. This is also an incredibly good read. This is from Colin Bunn and Brian Hurt of The Damned and Shadow Roads and The Sixth Gun. I generally like the stuff that they work on together. I generally like Colin Bunn, although I will circle back to that. This is a small town. As far as this issue goes, it's pretty densely packed as far as story and characters. It's really well done. It's a small town that is doing a screening for a movie director's Lost movie. The book starts with the filming of that movie, and the studio catches fire, and so everyone runs out of the building, and the director winds up disappearing. So, someone has recovered a copy of the movie. They are screening it in what I think is his hometown, if I remember correctly. And they, back up. So, where was it? So the movie was called God of Monsters, and there are 5 main monsters. There's a werewolf, there's a mummy, there's a creature who they're calling Inhuman, and there's a Frankenstein and Dracula. So anyone familiar with the classic Universal monsters is familiar with these. What I especially like about this is the page turns, because when the movie starts screening, there's intercuts between the movie and the movie theater, the small town, and again, the movie. I think my one criticism is there could have been a bit more differentiation between the two. So this is the real world at the time, and this is the movie. And there's 5 pages here, and so there's setup, page turn, reveal. Setup, page turn, reveal. It's just like, I love a great page turn reveal. I think it's underrated. I think it should be used more often. If you're writing a scene, like, yeah, this could have been, because these 2 pages are related, so we've got this, and the symmetry here I think is brilliant. But this page is related to this page, and you could have made this facing pages, but then the reveal would be obvious as soon as you turn the page, and I think just the page turn reveal is underused. It is incredibly powerful, in my opinion, and when it's well done, I especially appreciate it. I think others do as well, even if they don't really recognize it, but I think pacing can be generally adjusted to pull off a page turn reveal if you are writing comics. So, bam, and then what I believe happened here is Dr. Frankenstein put his brain inside of Frankenstein's monster, which is very interesting. I'm looking forward to that. And then obviously we get Dracula here on the last page, and it's really well done. I'm very much looking forward to this. There's a huge cast of characters. I imagine many of them are going to die, but this is immediately getting added to my pull list, and I kind of love it. I highly recommend it. It's maybe not quite as good as Conan, but these are co-runners for Book of the Week at the moment. So we've got Under the Influence 3, and in my head, this book is always linked to the Enfield gang. This is also issue 3. There should be a number on there. There it is. These books are linked together in my head because they have, well, 1, they come out in the same week each month, but 2, they have the same problem, which I've talked about previously, which is that they don't really do anything to help the audience remember what happened in previous issues, which I think is unfortunate. So, Enfield is still the nice paper, it's nice art, and the story is okay. And Under the Influence, again, the art is nice. It's possibly more stylized than people would prefer, but the story is also okay. There is a weird thing where there's a bunch of early text boxes, and someone is talking about being in the bathroom, and then we don't see the bathroom until pages later, and it's just like, what? Why would you see? There's the bathroom, and surprisingly, a lot of this issue takes place in the bathroom. 2 people talking stalls apart. It's very strange. Anyway, these might be good at some point. I generally say things are going to be better read as a collection than as single issues, and that's still true here. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about those. Black Hammer at the End, issue 2. So this is, I think, a setup issue because pieces are moved around, and there's a last page reveal that I think is pretty amazing, and I very much look forward to that, but it's sort of a conversational issue. What's happening here between mother and daughter I find is interesting, and there's a bit of entitlement going on as well, but I can't really fault the daughter for that. There's an explanation as far as the team that is being assembled, and that is also interesting, and I would like to see where that goes, so obviously I will continue reading. We've got more Inspector Insector, who's always fantastic, and it's just well done, and I would like more, and I'm not going to show you that last page. But it's good. I've always loved Black Hammer, except for that one miniseries, but almost always loved Black Hammer, and this is another great issue. I would like to see where this overall miniseries goes. I believe it was just after the last issue came out, so issue 26, that it was revealed that issue 30 would be the last. I did not see how anything was going to get resolved in that amount of time. And what happens this issue is, well, there's some sparring throughout the issue, which is entertaining. The art's still great. The writing is well done. This is the superior Robert Kirkman, but I will get to that at some point. And by the end of this, the main character sort of forces the issue, so that's going on. There's a dragon, there's Peoria, which I don't think is real in any way, but that's fine. That's fine. This is how it ends. So the time for attack is now. He's like, alright. So it's almost as if he knows that the story's ending, and he's like, alright, we gotta get a move on. We need to do some things. And I don't know. I'll see how it ends. We've got 3 more issues. Hopefully the 2 of them can pull it off, and I believe at a minimum the art will look fantastic. Speaking of fantastic art, we've got Dan Mora once again. So Shazam, and the writing on this is just bizarre. There's almost a childlike glee as far as just the weirdness that's happening. But Shazam's on the moon. He's on there at the request of some apes, and the apes have their own spaceship, and they go to the moon because someone has not fulfilled their contract for supplying a weapon. Like, it's, yeah, I don't know. It's very weird. It's a lot of fun. We've got Killer Bee, Queen Bee. I don't remember her name now. Queen of the Bees. Queen Bee. And then in the background, there's the story going on with the gods plus Solomon. The gods are dismissive of Solomon because he's not a god, and I think he's actually the key to the whole thing. But it's just all around a lot of fun and well done, and I hope these 2 continue on Shazam for a while. I'm going to change the order of these real quick because I read this one first, and there's something about this guy that just makes me think of Saga. If that were a TV on his head instead of a triangle, it'd be more so. But anyway, we've got our 2 main protagonists, and one of them betrayed the other at the end of the previous issue, and so there's some fallout from that, and there's Handroid. And I have a question. So this thing here, this is the spaceship that they got from I can't remember the name, but is this looks to me like a headmaster, kind of, right? We've got the head plug right there. We've got the sort of battle mask, got a pair of eyes and sort of an RC shaped head. Anybody else see that? Anyway, right in the middle of this, there's something that sticks out like a sore thumb, and I wish it wasn't there, but where is it? This 2-page sequence being in the middle of this interplanetary drama makes 0 sense, and I don't understand why it's here. I wish that it weren't, and it would have been a better book if this were not included. I can only imagine that this is set up, that these 2 characters are continuing somehow, and Shockwave will play into that at some point, but I don't understand this at all, and it actually makes the book worse for being there. That brings us to Transformers issue 1. Danny Warren Johnson, I'm a big fan of his, and I guess I should have expected what we got, because it's sort of an accumulation of what he has done elsewhere. There's some family drama. I want to show you one panel in particular, because it's amazing. This right there, so you got some wrestling moves. Oh my god, I friggin' love it. Clothesline. It's so good. It's so good. It's a very small cast of Transformers. I don't know if you've seen, there are alternate covers, and I think there's interviews where they talk about the small cast, and you could see some of that on variant covers. There are, I don't know, like a dozen variant covers. But There are deaths in this issue, and I'm not going to say that I'm surprised, but I guess I'm surprised in the sense not of the characters that were killed or possibly killed or at least shot, but that it's such a small cast, and then on top of that, you just like shoot somebody in the face. I'm like, damn. So it is a very small cast on Earth. The war, thankfully, is only a couple of centuries old, not millions of years, because that's always, to me, been an unbelievable aspect. But it's a brilliant start, and I'm adding this to my pull list immediately. The art's fantastic. The writing is incredibly well done, and it's just a great issue. In contrast, we've got this shit. So, Ultimate Invasion. Just an absolute waste of time and money. What a piece of shit. So, absolutely nothing gets resolved. Next up, there's a one-shot. I don't think anything's going to be resolved there either. So this starts a bunch of things. It doesn't end. It doesn't resolve, wrap up any of them. And I can't expect that the one-shot is going to do that either, or else this would have been, the one-shot would have been issue 5 instead of issue 4 of this, and I don't think that I like Hickman as a writer anymore. And, like, Hickman was my guy for a long time. I liked everything that he was doing, and then I think now the last thing that I actually enjoyed was House of X, Powers of 10? X of Swords, 10 of Swords was definitely a piece of shit that went on for twice as long as it should have. And his leaving the X-Men, what happened to Moira, just abandoning Moira after Hoxpox, and then what happened to her, and there was something else that pissed me off too, that now I can't remember, but Gods, months of hype, and I could not give less of a shit about Gods, and this is a piece of trash, and I'm done with Hickman. He has dug a hole for himself, and I have no idea what it's going to take for him to climb out of it, because this is f***ing awful. Speaking of awful, Death of the Venomverse. There was one good issue, and that was the first, and everything since then has been downhill. So Death of the Venomverse is thankfully over, and at least as far back as issue 3, possibly, I believe, back in issue 2, I was like, I don't know how they're going to resolve this, because I think Carnage is too powerful for the team that has been assembled. And issue 4, there is a valiant effort put into defeating him, except this cover kind of spoils some things. And issue 5, I'm going to spoil this right now. So it just ends, and he's still Carnage. They didn't defeat him at all, and it just, like, what the f***? So there's this ad that's in issue 4, because it's been known for a while that Carnage is getting his own series, and, like, I had the thought at one point that they were going to defeat standalone symbiote Carnage by involving Cletus, and yet that is not the case at all. So by the end of issue 5, this is issue 4 that's in my hand, but he's got null powers as well, and to be concluded is an absolute lie, because nothing is resolved. But if they wind up pulling another Guardians of the Galaxy bullshit where they just time jump ahead and then reveal what happened between this series and this months down the line, then f*** Marvel. Just, even if they don't do that, even if somehow they address the difference between this and this in the first issue, Marvel. This is going on the floor. It's being thrown on the floor, just like Avengers Inc. What a f***ing waste. So lastly, I mentioned this in my video 2 weeks ago. Witcher, the Ballad of Two Wolves, the collection is out, and it's great. The writing is good, the art is fantastic, and I loved it. I am a fan of The Witcher. This series was great. I wish that The Witcher had a consistent artist, and that it was this one. Each miniseries has a different artist, which is hard to get into. But this one, in particular, is great. Highly recommend it. So that is everything that I got this week. Screw this. Not those. These two are good, and this is okay. So, of everything that I got over the last 2 weeks, these are my picks of the week. What happened? This one here. These are my picks. So, the Midnite Show, highly recommended. Conan, just... This shows all the other comics what they should be doing. And then Transformers, just... Again, phenomenal first issue. Danny Warren Johnson, absolute master of the craft. But that is everything that I got this week. Hopefully next week I'm feeling better and I'm back to normal somewhat. As always, I get all of my books from a local comic shop. If you don't know where yours is, you can use this URL to find the one closest to you. Thanks for watching.